Rising TikTok star Rashad Al-Haddad, also known as the hot Houthi, and the Yemeni Timothy Chalamet, I prefer Tim Houthi Chalamet, has been attracting a sizable fan base by posting videos of himself aboard a cargo ship seized by Iran-backed rebels last year. I only hesitate there because we rarely characterize U.S.-backed efforts by Israel as such. Since the Hamas terrorist attacks on October 7th, Houthi militias have been targeting ships in the Red Sea on the basis that they have an obligation under the Geneva Convention to stop genocide being carried out in Gaza. Now, the ship was hijacked by at least 10 armed Houthis last November. Al-Haddad is one of the individuals who has visited the ship since the takeover. Al-Haddad was recently interviewed about his filming on the Houthi ships and his popularity on popular streamer Hassan Piker's show. Let's take a look.
والله يعني شيء طبيعي يعني ما في أي تأثير يعني أهم شيء إن إحنا نوقف مع القضية الفلسطينية هذا أهم شيء.
He says he's fine and everything is normal, and the most important thing is that they stand with Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the mood in Yemen overall since America started bombing positions in Sana'a and other places?
كيف معنوياتكم في اليمن وكيف الإحساس يعني بالشعب هلا باليمن بعد ما بلشت أمريكا بالقصف؟
والله شيء طبيعي يعني ما في أي خوف ولا أي تأثير يعني أصلاً متعودين على هذا من قبل 11 سنة يعني شيء طبيعي ما في أي شيء.
He's saying that it's pretty usual. They've been used to this for 11 years now and they're not scared.
That's crazy.
All right, so there was some controversy around Hassan Piker's choice to conduct this interview. Hassan Piker has a huge platform and has raised millions of dollars for Gazan aid by talking about the humanitarian crisis there on his platform. He's also raised money for a lot of other causes with his streaming platform. And so I want to put it to you, is there substantively different from, say, the interviews of various members of Hamas that have happened on mainstream channels, their spokespeople and the like? I know that there was one, for example, on Al Jazeera that went viral, which asked serious pushback and gave pushback questions about the strategic choices that have been made by Hamas. Is the criticism here that he conducted the interview or something about the way in which the interview was conducted? What say you?
I don't even know who that is until just now, Hassan Piker.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not as on YouTube as the fact that we're a YouTube show would have it. Was the interview... Did he push back? Did he? I don't know what. I mean, obviously I don't. Obviously, yeah, it's fine. Journalists should interview people, even very bad people. I don't have any problem with that. But the portraying him, and maybe that's not Hassan Piker doing that. It's, I don't know, Gen Z or something. The framing of him as the thirsting for him. I find that pretty gross. But people can do whatever they want. I mean, the Houthis have been criticized by Human Rights Watch for recruiting child soldiers. Their slogan, one of their slogans is, I believe, death to the Jews, a curse upon the Jews. So, you know, thirst after this guy if you want, you do you. I'm not going to glamorize someone of that, who's part of that movement, and
well, I think that's fine and legitimate, but I don't think that's what Hassan Piker was doing. So
I'm not accusing him of that.
Hassan Piker, who's actually cousins with Cenk Uygur, has one of, I was trying to see if he actually is the biggest, but he is one of the biggest Twitch streamers in the world. Back in 2020, for example, to give you a scale of this, he had 125,000 live viewers during the presidential debate that year. I mean, the platform is really enormous. And he is a younger, I think he's either a young millennial or an old Gen Zer. I think he's more like a young millennial. And has a huge audience in that cohort, who are the people on TikTok who have really uplifted this guy because they feel like the specific struggle that he's engaged in and supporting the blockade, a blockade to goods going to Israel specifically, is no different than, let's say, many of the sanctions that America, through its economic might, is willing to impose on the rest of the world. In this case, because of the geographic reality of where Yemen is placed, these people have an ability to say, we are going to uphold the responsibilities set forth in the Genocide Convention and say, we're going to do what we can do to put pressure on Israel to stop the genocide.
But I guess, how is this different than fangirling over, like, Nick Fuentes or something.
I mean, if you want to have a conversation about whether anonymous people on TikTok shouldn't refer to him as the hot Houthi, I think that's perfectly legitimate. Okay. But I'd like to get your opinion on the actual journalistic practice and the choice that Hassan Piker, who is the famous, potentially accountable party here in this story, his choice to simply conduct an interview of this figure that's become kind of
I don't have any problem with that. I didn't have any problem with Tucker Carlson interviewing Andrew Tate or any number of other people. Journalists should do interviews, and then we can scrutinize how the interview was conducted. Did it involve pushback? Did it advance, knowledge, or was it just pumping up or fluffing up someone and someone's odious beliefs? So I didn't watch the whole thing. Yeah. I was really more responding to the very disturbing to me level of reverence here, which not from Hassan Piker, but from whoever on TikTok or wherever else is describing this person this way, that to me suggests a troubling lack of awareness of the atrocities this group, even if you are 100% in support of the people of Palestine and are totally against what Israel is doing and think we should not be funding it and think because we're funding it, our ships have somehow become legitimate targets. I would, even if you, which I don't think any of that, but if you did think all of that, it would still be weird to me to be like, isn't he cute? Someone who, again, slogan is death to the Jews, and
I don't think it's very weird.
His organization recruits child soldiers.
I don't think it's very weird. One, because this individual has not said death to the Jews. That's not a part of this person's record. And moreover, the IDF soldiers are famous for posting thirst traps. There's articles dating back. Here's a Rolling Stone article from 2021 saying Israeli Defense Forces soldiers embrace thirst traps on TikTok. There have been any number of videos that have been circulated, posted by IDF soldiers, women in particular, gyrating, doing sexy dances in the middle of the country where that is now middle of the land where South Africa is alleging a genocide and ethnic cleansing campaign are currently taking place.
This a little gross?
No, you're saying that it's weird. I'm saying it's not weird. It's very common for people to not sublimate their sexual identities in the middle of a crisis one way or the other. And
I didn't mean weird unusual. I meant weird gross.
Oh, well, that's a subjective opinion. But I think people do this across the board. It's not unique to one group or another. It's worth noting that the part of the interview that I did see, the individual was very much emphasized that he was not interested in the kind of superficial nature of his popularity, that he thinks that people should focus not on his looks, but on the ongoing humanitarian crisis, mass starvation, lack of medical care, amputations without anesthetic, all of those things that are going on in Gaza. And to his credit, continually push the conversation in the direction of focusing on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Okay. We will. Oh, there's a little bit more from the interview that we can play. Let's play that.
I don't know if he can answer this or not, but as far as the Ansar Allah militancy goes, as far as the standing military goes, I don't know if he is allowed to speak on this. I don't know if he's actually a part of the groups at all or just simply a TikToker. You know what I mean? I don't know how to ask that in the best way possible, though.
Yeah, I feel like you can ask it pretty directly.
Okay.
راشد, حسن بده يسألك أنت يعني منضم لأي من المجموعات، يعني أنت بتعتبر حالك من أنصار الله ولا بتعتبر حالك بس يعني شخصية على التيك توك، ولا يعني بده يعرف شو الرابط بينك وبين أنصار الله؟
طيب يعني بقول لك يعني أنا يمني، يعني كيمني يعني أنا واقف إلى جانب فلسطين.
His answer is a Yemeni who stands with Palestine.
What led him to go to one of the ships personally? What were some experiences that he had that caused him to want to go?
حسن بده يعرف شو هو اللي دفعك على زيارة السفن هاي، وشو التجارب اللي مريت فيها اللي خلتك تهتم بهذا الإشي، وإنه يكون جع بالك إنه تزور هاي السفن.
والله أنا أحب المغامرات، وطبعا هذا كل لأجل فلسطين يعني، وإن شاء الله في أشياء بتكون جديدة وأشياء مثيرة أكبر.
He says he likes adventures and he is a big supporter of Palestine.
Yeah, in many ways, the impression is that he's a kid who, is getting involved in this, but who has a very strong drive, like many people in the region, to want to advocate for the interest of Palestinians under occupation.
Yeah, but again, I think that undersells the humanitarian abuses that the Houthi movement itself is accused of, and their commitment to anti-Semitism, but people can stand whoever they want. More Rising right after this.